Um, can I just have a show of hands about how many of you have been to India? Oh, yeah. And how many of you have been to the Northeast? How many of you have been to Shillong? Definitely not Clive and Tommy. All right. When I first came to Australia, that was about 7 years ago, and I joined work in the month of February. And people looked after me very well, and they said, how's everything out? Yeah, everything's fine. But I said, it's really very hot out here. It was 42 degrees. What are you talking about? You're from India, and you're complaining about the heat? All right, so if I can get this slide to work. If you can see in that slide, in Indian administered Kashmir, there's a place called Dras, which claims to be the second coldest inhabited place in the world. Okay, temperatures reach about minus 40 degrees.
That's in the summer.
All right. Not in summer, in winter. All right, so a bit about this place, Shillong. It is in the state of Meghalaya in northeastern India. So up there you can see the Brahmaputra River, and down south is Bangladesh. Frank knows all about Bangladesh. So we are up in the hills there. To give you the exact location, that's where that state is, just in that tiny northeastern part of India. And a narrow strip of land joins that part of India to the rest of the country. And if you go on to the next slide, the 7 states, and Meghalaya means home of the clouds, so it's a cloudy place, all right? Shillong is a town which is about 1,500 meters above sea level, and the highest point is about 2,000 meters. Population is 350,000 according to the 2011 census. And maximum recorded temperature, 28.4 degrees. So 43 was really hot for me. Okay, that's summer temperature, by the way. And in winter, it goes down to about minus 4.5. It's a ladies' place there. And you can see that is the traditional dress of the ladies. Most of them, the indigenous people, are of East Asian origin. They have links to the Mon Khmer people of Cambodia. 60% of the population are Christians. Interesting thing about these people is the women are very powerful. So after marriage and community living, the husband goes to the wife's house, and the children take the wife's surname. Also, men cannot buy land. It's all in their wife's name. Okay?
The feminists were having a field day.
That's something new about India, I'm pretty sure. That's the Ward's Lake in the center of the town, artificial lake. If you have any picture of Shillong, that is the most likely picture that is going to identify Shillong.
Is that wooden construction?
Wooden, yes. And around the place, there are a number of waterfalls. So 2 of them are just Elephant Falls and Sweet Falls. The surrounds are quite pretty, very much like New Zealand. A lot of greenery around, and you have got a few lakes as well. But as with the rest of India, you can see things are changing, and it's becoming a concrete jungle. And the picture on the right shows you the center of the town, very close to where we used to live. And that is the cathedral. Another view of the Ward's Lake and the Shillong Golf Club. It was the Shillong golf course is one of the best in India, sometimes compared to St. Andrews in Scotland, but I don't think so, but even then close, maybe. And those are one of the artificial lakes. They use it for hydroelectricity generation. The hydroelectric station was set up in 1961. My grandfather used to have a farm around there, so when they, excuse me, dammed up the river, the farm was flooded, so he was compensated with land elsewhere. Now, as you can see there, you have shanties and you have modern buildings sort of coexisting out there in Shillong. These modern buildings, I don't know, don't sort of suit the topography of the place. And I'll tell you why they're not so safe in a place like Shillong in a moment. There's some other views, and you can see in the picture on the right how crowded the city center is now. Sorry, and that's how some of the village people travel out there in the three-wheeler, and no seat belts. Of course, they're traveling probably at 15 or 20 kilometers an hour, so we're pretty safe. All right, that's another view from up the Shillong Peak, which is just about 500 meters above the valley. And that's a new bypass which has been constructed, and crowded marketplace on your right. Now, Nepal has been in the news recently. As you can see in that picture, the Indian plate is moving against the Eurasian plate at the rate of 10 centimeters a year. In 1897, Shillong was completely destroyed by an earthquake. Used to have stone houses there. Everything was just destroyed. 1897. So after the earthquake, they started a different sort of building design. But before I come to that, I showed you a picture of the Wards Lake Bridge, and I've got a picture of that bridge after the earthquake in 1897. The picture on the right. And I've got another picture, it's pretty old, you know, it's a 100-year-old photograph, not very clear, I apologize for that. That was the condition of the lake after the earthquake. It was completely drained out, because I told you earlier it was an artificial lake. However, they've rebuilt that. So after the earthquake, construction sort of started. They used a wooden frame structure, which is a Japanese design, and you had buildings like this in Shillong. But because of the wooden structure, they were prone to fires, and the cost of construction went up because wood is not easily available. So they moved to concrete, and concrete buildings are not very safe because Shillong is classified as Zone 6, which is a high earthquake-prone area. All right, so in and around Shillong, there are certain interesting places. One of them is called Cherrapunji, which claims to be the rainiest place on earth. Okay, I checked the Guinness Book of Records, but there are conflicting claims, but Cherrapunji is right up there. The interesting thing about Cherrapunji is, although it's the rainiest place on earth, in winter it is very dry, and there's scarcity of drinking water. So when I was in Rotary in Shillong, we sort of started a project where we built small dams so that they could collect water in the winter months when things went dry. Because right below Cherrapunji are the plains of Bangladesh. So when it rains very heavily, all the water sort of goes down to the plains of Bangladesh. So, show you a picture maybe of, if I have it here, otherwise we'll come to it later. Lots of caves around. You can see stalactites and stalagmites there inside the cave. And that's another view. And place is also known for orchids. Beautiful orchids grow there. I know people who have made a fortune out of selling orchids. And Anne always looks for orchids at the bring and buy markets. I don't think she's found many. And that's some of the waterfalls in the Cherrapunji area.
Simon, what's the rainfall of
It's 11,000 millimeters or centimeters, I forget what it is, but 11,000 a year.
A lot of work.
Yeah, probably. Okay, another interesting thing close to Cherrapunji is this wonderful bioengineering. You can see a double-decker bridge made of the roots of trees. You know, they make these climbing routes, they make them move in a particular direction, and they join up over the streams, and they have a natural bridge there. And there are quite a few of them. Now, on the picture on the, okay, that's another view of that bridge. And they're beautiful gorges as well. On the right, you can see a picture of rat hole mining. So what they do is they dig like that for coal, and you can see the size of the hole. So they send in children there to dig. All right, because the full-grown adult cannot fit into those holes. And I got a picture, this time when I went down there, I got a picture of a shoe which was left behind. Sorry, there it is. You can see the size of the shoe there, and that's the coal which has been extracted. As far as safety is concerned, there's none at all. And that's the dam Rotary helped to build. It was just being started, so that's where they're collecting water in the dry winter months to help them out. Cherrapunji is also famous for oranges and orchids. Okay, that brings me to the school we started in Shillong. And when we planned this project, we only had $5,000, and it cost us $100,000 to make that school. We built that over a period of 5 years, so it's, you know, we built it in parts. And we started with 5 students, 2 of them dropped out the first year, and we are left with 3. And my wife Anne said, there's no point continuing with this, so let's find some other job. I said, no, hold on. So the next year we had 23 students, and then 54, and finally when you gave it up, we had 380 students. The government does encourage private players to set up schools because there's not enough for everybody. So we are happy we could do something for the community there. And you can see the design of the building. There is this window which is shaped like a cross, and it was very interesting. When I was taking my classes there, one lady came up and said, can you open the prayer room? We want to pray. I said, this is not a church, it's a school building. If you want to pray, you're welcome, but we don't have a special prayer room, anything like that. All right, nearing the end, my father was a tea planter. And the picture on the left is a tea garden bungalow. My brother is a tea garden manager and my mum is living there at the moment. And to your right, I did visit my brother this time when I went in December, and we went up to Burma. So the picture on the right is the last Indian post on the Indian side of the border, and you cross that, you move into Burma. And what we observed there is, on your right is the lake of no return. During the Second World War, the Japanese lost a lot of fighters there, even the Allied forces. So this is a border village just close to the Indian border in Burma. The Indian government is building a road to connect India to Southeast Asia through the Stillwell Road. The Stillwell Road was made in 1942 when the Japanese were advancing into Burma. So the road is in very bad condition. I've got a picture of that. The next slide. That's what it looks like now. But they're widening it, and it'll probably become a good road. I don't know, maybe in 5 years, maybe 10, the pace at which works go on in India. Okay, and finally, those are the unmarked graves close to the Stillwell Road, people who gave up their lives building that road, and also people who fought in the Second World War against the Japanese. Unfortunately, you can see there are no markers, so I don't know how you identify those people who gave up their lives. Yeah, and that's it. Are there any questions? Yes?
Thank you for showing us this beautiful presentation and sharing with us your country.
Thank you.
But the obvious question, of course, is why do women have so much power in your country?
I don't know. They're part of same communities in Indonesia, in Sumatra, in Malaysia, in Burma. I guess it's an ancient culture where, you know, the women, the men went out on wars and all that sort of stuff. So women were at home, so they're given all the power. They're looking after the family.
Simon, I understand. I'm married to a Burmese.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Had nothing to do with the rain and what happened.
No, nothing to do with that. And they want to stick to their traditional culture. They don't want to change much, so that's how it is. All right? And they're happy with that.
Matriarchal.
Yeah, matriarchal society. That's right.
So is the school still a school then? I know you've sold it, Simon. Is it still run as a school?
No, nobody wants to run a school there because it doesn't give a profit as much. So whoever's going to buy that property is just going to knock down that building and build a hotel or something out there because it's right at the center of the town. The commercial value is very high, so it does not make sense to run a school because it will not give you as much profit. Yes, Phil?
Simon, you've mentioned that you're trying to collect water in the winter time. Has it been most of the rain? You said a lot of rainfall. Is it monsoonal rain in the summertime, is it?
Yeah, monsoonal rain. So it sort of runs down. You see, if you look at the topography of the place, when the winds come in from the Bay of Bengal, they suddenly hit the hills. And that's where you get a lot of rain in Cherrapunji. But the water sort of, there's nothing to check it, limestone rocks. So it just goes down the valley into the plains. So in winter, it does not rain at all. It becomes very dry, and so there's scarcity of water. So what Rotary was trying to do was build a few dams for the people so that they can collect water, the monsoon water,
In summertime.
so that they can use it in winter.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
Brad?
Simon, I'm actually going to be riding a motorbike through Rajasthan in October.
Okay,
Do I need a raincoat?
I don't think so.
You got to bring your
Rajasthan is mainly desert, so you
Is it?
need plenty of sunscreen though. Any other questions? Right, thank you very much.